Nima. Lai siya Tuifua, Tuifua, Junior, ya sisita taimi lai sana au Tuifua. Kagumana tu ki taimi na mau Fakame kigua mau lelei tau kalau mana tu itu mau pa luar mai mau pa fini mau luar mai ke fare lotu ni ne fare lotu motua nai tu fata fare lotu mai apia ko lotu kurianga mau fala que tu fare apia ko ne apia lotu kurianga tapa moto tu fata fare lotu presidenna Malachi Uluave kita ini aku horizon begini taimi Fakame pergi malere kita tahu Tuhan itu apa tamai ngomong kau ya pe manatu melie kita ini kau ya pe malo.
Take 50. Hi everyone, this is Do'alauekin Arabella's mother. I am also the Tokoni Pulelautohi for the Siasi Huelo Mama Itaniti, Barrow, Alaska. I was asked to share memories of my Fakame days. And let me tell you something, Fakame was one of my best memories of my childhood. I am so grateful that I grew up in Tonga and I have all these memories of Fakame in Sunday school. There's so many memories, but I'll try to keep it short. This should take like a whole episode just to, get my memories out, but I'll keep it short. Fakame, January, we have Ugelotu, and then third, fourth Sunday of January, we have Sapateako. And right after Sapateako, we already started preparing for Fakame, February. That's the earliest. Whānau is already giving out, their Bible verses, lesonis for everyone to start learning and citing. The excitement of school, heading straight to local lesoni, getting to be your friends, be with your friends and neighbors. It's just, you get to build memories with them by doing Fakame, I would remember my mom, like every parent or every mother, when it comes to Fakame, they try to dress their kids the best they can. Even though we call it nowadays looking like a Christmas tree, but man, those poofy dresses back then, they were the ish, because you sit there and you count how many layers of your dress, and then even your socks, how many layers of lace your socks. You have that day you all prepare for. Wake up that Sunday, the food, oh my gosh, the whole year you have, all of a sudden your parents have money to get you chocolate cake, pineapple pie, all the good food, for just that special day. You wake up to a breakfast, to an English breakfast, like eggs and ham, baked beans, toast, fried tomatoes. Those were the best. You get dressed up. I remember my grandma sitting over there with her cup of water and her oil with her little comb. Start curling our hair, because there weren't no curling irons back then. Grandma would sit there, curl your hair. You start moving around, all of a sudden, boom, you get hit with the comb. And then before you go for a Fakame, you get the threat, like they threaten you, You better go sit still. Oh Lord. Fun. Oh, those were the days. Two memories I always think about Fakame. My dad was a retired SUTT, and after he retired from SUTT, he volunteered to be a whailautohe. And I was so grateful because the memories we have during those times. I was grateful because my older siblings, they got the SUTT dad. I got the whailautohe dad, you know. He was so passionate about Sunday school. He would literally sit there and make sure we run it how many times, and make sure that when we lau our lesoni, you know, lau ke mita, the period, your voice goes down, exclamation mark, your voice sounds surprised, like at the end, like little details like that. He was so into that. Like he would sit there and make sure that we run it how many times, and make sure that we would lau ke mita, with the way we stand, the way our feet stand, our hands, our eyes. When our hands move this way, you know, fatata, our eyes goes with our hands, you know. I would be the one that would give him more time most of the time, just because, you know, just because. But he would sit there and he would teach us. And this is why Samisoni did this. This is why Noah did this, you know. Like he would explain it to us, you know, and he would always say, "Como tolu, you guys are the preachers, you know. And if you guys stand up there and do la Noah, and you know, not reading Kagemaroto and la Noah, the message won't be the message. The church won't receive your message, you know, because they're so distracted by you not ma'oing your lesoni, or you being lau noa and just standing there. They're going to be so distracted with that." But he said, the way you deliver your message, you know, it needs to be out there to, you know, the church, your parents, you know. So I really learned a lot from him during those times, and I am grateful for that. And also the lessons that I learned from Sunday school, that carried me through some dark times in my life. I really didn't understand it when I was in Sunday school, you know, but going through those dark times, I would remember my dad's teaching, my mom's teaching, you know, and the verses that they would teach me during Sunday school. It really did carry me through some dark times in my life, and I'm very grateful. We're very grateful for my parents and my Sunday school teachers. Nowadays, you know, the same people, like our parents, you know, they be the main one dying us back then to, you know, cite our lesonis. And nowadays you look at them and they're all soft on their grandkids. Oh, I thought it took back in. But what about us back then? We got the stick and the letra and everything. But I think that's why we're tough. We got thick skin because of that. I just want to tell manu to all the Sunday school Huelo mama ki Itaniti. I hope that, you know, what we're trying to teach you guys will, you know, it will help you through your walk in life. So thinking about this memory, I vowed to myself to do better, you know, because my parents did. My parents and my dad and Whailautohe did that for me, and I have a duty to do that for my son, my daughter, and the Sunday school in the future of this church. Ofalahiatu and bye.
Bedo bangat. Talakwatapu. Pai. Pepe apita pangamari o Kapeli. Kabada pepe mo. Peu ko pai manatu melie e taimi te kawai pa me. Na loto pa tapate e loto pa tapate amua I ewa. Pea ko tui ka pai alu manatu taiva fitu noa Pe whinoa ko tu ka taimi na o kawa e Fakame. Kono tāu e Fakame ko tā ka koa tā. E ka whai lau tohi taimua. O manatu melie poki ka whai lau tohi. O manatu ki a Pauline Mahamoa. Ka mata pe o lau tohi whakasāpate me karati. Tā hao alwai pe o awaki e karati ni mā. Pe ko karati pāpau toki hola ue lau tohi whakasāpate. O palahi ka o manatu melie ke lau tohi whakasāpate. Ka pau nai I kai. Ela tu pa sapate e taimi ko ya. Alo ko ya ni ko tau pa me pula. Ai malo ma la tu pa sapate amu a. I taimi ko ya taiva pitmo pu to po. O ke pai ai. Ai po pa mo tau ki. Lo tu lava I o lea lava I o ila malanga lava I o. Ma pa nga mari nga ya ni. Ko nga ko lo tu pa sapate. Ka pau e kai la hala tue whakatapati. Ko alwha po uri pēia e taimla. Ka koe tokon lai la tue whakatapati e ke angai tau poronga. Ko angai e tau mui e tau whakai ke eka. I e mā e ke mā e o lotu. Ko kai pe la tue whakatapati e ko pāpūri ala. Ka ko manatu me neongo e ne fuoloa. E neongo ka kuke manatu I pe. Ai fonga ka whai lau to. Nane hanga tāma e whihi. Pa mo whakamāma e hanga. Ai whanonga. O palahi atu e lau to whakatapati a mua. Pa pēpoke. O wamai ke lau to whakatapati. Ai Huelo māma I Itaniti. O watu.
Malo lelei. Ko ingo'a ko Maliana Kapeli Vatuvei Mila. Ko lele mai me tata motonga. Ko nofo Pero Alaska. Ko fēfe whainga mali ko ni ki o Vahevahe. Whika o aki mo e Fakame. O ko ka o ki e whangawaka o si su kalaisi o kau mani oni ngai aki mo ni. Ka o ko I kai ki e mau Fakame. Ka o ko mau whakahoko tatau pe. Ai lau le soni ko ni. E mahina o katopa. A koe ia koe mau a sāpate hina pe koe White Sunday. Koe taimi manatu melie pe ke taimi neu tupu ake ai. Neu tau tolu na e pe tau wha taimi koe ia neu fuafua raki laule sonia. Nea kuma oa e loto maa whana au pito e ku laule sonia. Pea nau ko ongo'i fia I taim ko ni nau keisi au pito nau manat nau ili fia e kufua lau le soni he nai au tū mai me mua e a kainga loto ko lahi. Pea ka nā ku whahau ko lelei ku lau le soni pa nau ongo'i maa whana. Pea toi taha nau ku manatu I lelei pe nau fia he ku tui au ko fufua ou lanu hina. Pea teo ilo e whahoko ai kai lole mo kai ice kilimi after that. Pea hoku manatu melie peia ki e taimi lau le soni ai e koe Fakame ia I e sia suasiliana. O mau au whalahi ke Vahevahe atu ki a te mutolu ki manatu melie. Mo e talamonu atu ki e te waki ko I e Fakame ia a pongina. E mo mao hafa me fia mo whanu lau mali ia o whalahi atu.
Hi everybody. So I was asked to share something about Fakame that I learned or was meaningful to me. I have always been in Fakame since I was little. And one of the things that I grew up learning about Fakame was how important it was to learn our lesones and to memorize our lesones and to read leolahi when you're reading your lesones. That growing up, I didn't like allowing my lesoni. I didn't like memorizing my lesoni. It was so hard. And we grew up around our grandfather, a diehard for lesonis. He would do anything. that had to do with the church. And one of my fond memories of was growing up. He had done a lesson. He had done a lesson for us, and and he would make us memorize our lessons about Jesus. And I think this was the Passover lesson, and he had all of us sit around, and all the little disciples at that time was Melie, Doa, Malkavi, Veleti, Nia. It was all my first cousin sit around in a circle as the disciples, and I had to sing and pass out the Passover meal. We would get so mad every time he would call us to come and do la lesoni, and we'd sneak in after school, get our bikes, and take off because we didn't want to practice anymore. And we would get ta'i because we wouldn't practice our lesoni. I am so grateful for the opportunities that we were given as kids, learn about God, lesoni, our scriptures, and learn so many things that I don't think we ever had time for as adults. And my advice to the kids, you know who you are, the adults, the young adults, before you seek anything else in this world, that you seek the kingdom of God, because he will be there to help in trials that we have. So good job, everyone, for being a part of Fakame, and ofatu.
Hello. So I was never in the Fakame, but I grew up watching Fakame because my mom's side of the family are Methodist. And I remember always looking forward to go watching Fakame or watching my cousins doing Fakame. What I enjoyed watching was how they memorized all their small talks or their long talks, and the fact that they all had beautiful attire. Because of the Huelo mama or Itaniti, I get to watch my children be a part of it. First with Yarni, now Benji. The first time Yarli was in the Fakame, I remember being so excited for her. I was excited to listen to her because she memorized her talks. And it was just a spiritual and humble experience to watch her be a part of it. And then when Benji's first time, I remember he was so nervous. I could tell he was having anxiety, waiting to recite his talk. We don't have Fakame in our church, but we do have primary programs and are very similar to Fakame, where we give in our talk to recite and we sing songs. I remember my first time, I remember being told or forced to memorize my talk and to stand still while reciting it, which I find myself teaching my kids the same thing. I remember when it was over, I was very excited because it was over and I was looking forward to eating good food after. But I think most of all, what I love about Fakame and primary programs, that whether your line is a few words or a paragraph, but you're sharing a message about the goodness of God with others. So I encourage you to keep going, and Benji, I'm so proud of you. And remember, you're not just reciting the color of gold, but you're sharing what it means with others. I love you and all of you, so keep it up.
Whawhetai, lau malie, ta moia ko ta pepe a te au, whawhetai ko na ua whamano. Ko lau e whenga malie koe ni. O ko omi ma aku he whiawhini ke whai aki Vahevahe. whekau aki pea moe ki whehui kono o ko mai. I taimi koeni na aku i he lautoi whakasapate ai talu mei he kutupu hake. Pea ko whiwhia au pito ke Vahevahe. I he taimi ko ia na aku tupu hake ai i he kuongo mātua i he halamanga uno. Ko kuongo mātua whoki ko ku whae mo tangata iki na whai lau tohi fu o loa au pito. Pea nahanga o tataki ki mautolu, mo taki ki mautolu ki he lauto whasapate. Pako manatu mau pē i he mau ke iki, hono o mai ke maulau, ai mo ako ai himi mo ngahi fola ke maulau mauloto, mo whai e ngahi iako le soni, teu lahi au pito, ki he taimi koni pe koe sapate uluaki o me, ko ia pe ia aku whai ai Fakame he tau kotoa pe. Ako manatu lelei ki ai tuku pe ako, ku mau o mai pe ko ki ai kau mau alu ke lau le soni, e fiafi kotoa pe, ako e mau le soni ke mau himi, pe ata ki mau tolu he whai lau tohi, ki ako ke mai mau le soni. Ne ongo na mamahi ia no tā ki mau tolu, ka koe a uko ki he aho ko ia. Ko he whaka ofa no mau e mau le soni, pe a fie whanongo whoki mo kakai, ki he mau le soni, i he mau koe a le soni. Ka koe ku whakaloto lahi at pia, ka ku mau tolu, si whanau e ngai aho ni, o te mau ita mo loto mama, hanga e mo matua, o teke mau tolu ke o ki he lautohi. Whakasapate, he iai aho e aunga ki a te ku mau tolu, uma a o ku mau nofo muri, a ke mau tolu, pe au kai ke toi mahino e ai lea whakatonga ka ku mau tolu. Ka koe whatongia e matua, koe pou ka ku mau tolu, ke ona ngalo e lea whakatonga e te ku mau tolu. Mo lau kau a ke tau lea whakatonga, a ki ho mo lau ai Fakame, kou ilo koe Fakame, ko hono whaka ai pe a ki mau tolu, ke whonua muri ko ni mo malu i ki mau tolu. Ke mo wofi mau pe ke eiki, he taimi kotoa pe. O whalahia ka te mau tolu, koe e tala mono, pe a moe e fia lahi, koe a koe teu e Fakame, pa maaloat ka te mau tolu. Pe a moe o whalahi atu, tua o whaat.
Hi, my name is Anthony.
A memory of your first time being in Fakame.
Being on stage and feeling proud that I got an award. It's up there.
Okay, go.
Hi, my name is Sione Uluave, and I believe my favorite memory of Fakame was when I was up front with my two little brothers, and I had to keep waking my little brother Siale up because he fell asleep. Standing up, yeah.
I don't do Fakame.
The first time I was in Fakame, I was very proud that I got it done.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ko fēfea he whaina maari o mi maako, lautoi whasapate wanoa wano, ke whaiha manatu melie, koe uhi koe ngahi taulahi, o whakarere mai aki ai Fakame ma ai tuunga whanau. O ku whakamaa whana maupe, e tau kotoa pe a manaki ke au ki me, mahino ko mahina ia ngahi whamiri. Pea neo na aku tupuha ke he whunga waka kehe, na ka te mauwhai ai Fakame, ka na mauwhai ai reson, lau resoni. Ko ne wahi mai peha resoni, lau tui whasapate, pako pau ke maulau mauloto, i kai toi sio ka toi tapu. E ku kau mai ke siasi, he tahi wa walu taha, i September, pea na aku sio ai ke he anga i tūkunga i whanau ki he taimi Fakame. Ko taimi whokia ni tau tō kakia i tau whanau ke he mo ui whakalamari. Pea neo mau kunau lea ake a ngahi rea me he wholofola, o te e kiai ke fu mahino fēfe whau, ka oku tau kamata hono lalanga ki nau tolu mo nau whanki I mo ui, e iai ha taimi, ne nau tutupu hake pe mau inga maari e ngahi rea o nau lawa o lau mauloto I he tau kotoa. O ku whaahoko whuke taimi ko niko taimi o tau tea ia he mātua e nau whanau. Kono uhinga, koe ke nau malawa ke lau mauloto e resoni. Pakai taimi ihi o atia ke lau nau tani nai. O I kai rewa ke fie maari e mātua I he taimi nau wako ne ki nai. Ka na e wholofola sisu, I he taimi e mo ene kawako, mo ki whanau, ai hohaa ai whanau pe wholofola sisu ke ne kawako. Oua e ta ofi ai whanau iki, e koe whanki I lau maari au tau mo pure angalangi. Pea e manatu melie ki he se tuata, taimi ko toa pe ko whai ai Fakame o kune nai mai, o I kai koe taimi eni ke tau tea e ai ho whanau. Pa o ko tui pe au ilo pau koe mo one lawa se tuata. Na aku kau mai ki he siasi koe ni, o se tuata mo no hoa, na na kau naua I he whanau, ono a koi ki he Fakame. Pa koe taimi o ku riri osi pe o hanga he whanau e he mātua, teu e nau ki I whanau ki he pesete te au. Nau tūpu hake pe au sio he I he tawhaake ke he pe au ha o kau he siasi koe ni, pe au sio he ki he anga a hono o hake e tau whanau. Pa koe toki whiri e tau whanau. Ia e nau whiri e nau tolu ki I he amui pe te nau hoko atu pe I kai, pe te nau lau mauloto pe I kai, pe koe lau e teknolosia he taimi ni, ke puke pe ho telefoni pe ake lau. Ka I he Fakame he ku ilo pau, koe tahaya mo me niti whakamāwhana ki he mātua mo I whangakui, koe te sio atu hato ki uki ku lau mauloto I ne ki ves lau loto. Pe koe lau mauloto I mai e himi, pe ane whakatātai, whanau. Ko mūtou tangata I he kahau o koe ai e whakaamu. Ko mea koe ne mō wako he lolotonga ni, ko mea te mō wako I aka mō whanau he kahau. Ko tō tangata ko ia I he hoko mai me ho mautua ange ko se tuata, mono hoa mo ki mautolu, ai mātua ko nuki mātua tuange. Na mau I he tawhaaki koe na. Ka I he mau sio koe ki he mau whanau I he taimini, ko mea pia na mau wako I. Pa koe mau whanau mo e nau whanau, koe hae whaunga na nau omi ma ki mautolu, koe whaunga pia omi he whanau ma ki mautolu. Koe ai fēfe ala he ta ko niko ilo. O ku tau whakaosien e ku kau ngā kau mo ki tu uma whanau I he whami. Kua te ku whanalo ke pule lautohi e taumi, wahawhi wano, kau mai, kau whai lautohi. Koe whakakoloa ake whimatu a masiva koe ni, ai whatongia ma mawha o tau koe ni. Pea talo e ku tupu, ku kau mahi se asi ko toki se ai ni iha, whami. Ko lau tāpu ake mo lau monu. Whakamaloa ati kaki motoro e pule lau tohi o koe kai koha whatongia whai mo fuai. Koe whatongia ma mawhai nuku te angoi ma whasia ma upe uhi ko e te sio atu ke angai ki whanau kai ke o tau kei toko ni ipe hono ako ne kina e tau whanau. Koe tala monua tu whanau o whapeke mo mao ha Fakame o whonu lau mahi e ia. Lea ko tope o ke lawa rea aki. Munia ke hoko ko me tai koloa ki hoko whanunga. I he tauni, ke tau kaha tala munu atu. Malo api te mau whaina mahi e tu au whai.